Oh no. Oh no, it's happening. I hit the live button. This ain't good, guys. This ain't good. Anyway, I need to make sure the thumbnail of this is looking good. And then I need to make sure that I share this with my server and see what happens. Where is my channel? Where's the live stream link? I'm gonna low-key give it like 5 minutes though and see who actually shows up. Because I have not uploaded a video in way too long. So maybe it didn't send out a notification for like the first 2-3 minutes or something like that. But if I add in my server, wait, I have a solution for this. We go to Discord. Epic transition that I made. Yep, I know. We do that. We do this. 400 plus people. That's crazy. I'm live, guys. Breaking down editing. Who liked that? This guy new? My goat. And you know what else is crazy? Not a low taper fade. Not a low taper fade. Heck yeah. The low taper fade. Yo, what's up? What's up? I don't know how long I'm gonna be streaming, to be honest. I really don't. It's kind of like the first one, but we're just gonna see how it goes. I'm not really the most talkative person, even though my videos say otherwise, but that's because it's scripted. If you did not know, I've actually talked to somebody before, and they fully thought I was just talking off the top of my head. No. It's a script. Well, I feel like most people know, but I guess not. I wanted the like little like heart reactions or chat reactions to show up on the side of the screen. Cravest fixes, yeah, I do. Sorry, guys. Sorry to reveal that and drop that on you. That was very heavy news. You might need some time. Broad, okay, bro. Okay. I know. Okay, I now see what Landon just said. What the heck? You right. You right. That's why I haven't uploaded for 5 months. I took that advice like to heart. I had it like Flamingo. I could. I could look at Flamingo. Could we look at a Flamingo video? That's the whole goal of the stream, by the way. Literally just to find a YouTube video and then talk about the editing as we're watching it and see if I can find a way to make it. I don't know if I want to go in Premiere today and like actually fully make the effects like live. More than anything, I just want to like actually look at the video and talk about how they're made, or how I at least think they're made in Premiere. Okay, have fun at work or something like that. Jailbreak? Oh, yeah, I use like normal Premiere. I pay for Premiere. It's only $20 though. $20 a month. I don't think is bad for one of the best editing softwares in the world. Gotta prevent piracy. What did I just do? Oh, I thought I just got rid of my chat. That would have been bad. Glad you're online. Need some amazing advice. Want to ask? I should move my editing business from Fiverr to Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, I don't know so much about Insta. I don't think it's necessarily the best, but then again, I haven't looked that much into it. Twitter, however, yes, absolutely. Be on Twitter and Discord. Those are like the top two things for editing. If you go on Twitter and go and just look up a little bit of editing, no matter what niche it is, you're gonna get so many things. Like my Twitter literally is just completely filled with people doing insane edits all the time. all the time. And usually it's a lot of them dropping like free packs and presets and things like that. So yeah, definitely promote your work on Twitter. And then yeah, obviously Discord. I'm trying to make a video. I want to make a video on that about just trying to get a better portfolio and editing gig, because quite frankly, a lot of them are not like exactly the best. Not to say I have an amazing thing. However, I can point out a lot of stuff that's wrong. Like the main thing if you're trying to get editing work is literally for it to just be as simple as possible for the client to hire you. Like I literally opened up a portfolio yesterday and dude, it was like 1,000 paragraphs on the whole page. It was a lot. I just think that's too much. It's overwhelming if you're a client. You should be able to know whether you want to hire the person when you're watching like, I don't know, 2, 3 videos maybe, and you've seen the full capabilities of their editing. I think that's ideal. Break AE. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get a virus. Don't support piracy. You watch through all of them. It's kind of crazy. I have only about 4 or 5 videos I think are truly like good on my channel. Then the rest of them are kind of just. Hold on, let me go to my analytics. Bro, this is so weird. I haven't streamed anything in, I don't know, 4 years maybe. And that was on a really old channel also called Cravest, which is public by the way. Don't go and check it out. I used to do a lot of like gaming videos, Fortnite content. I think those live streams are private, public, I have no clue. But I kind of miss those days though. That's pretty fun. So kind of trying to bring it back a little bit. When you are broke, if you earn well by the editing software, uh, $20 in 1 month. If you're living with your parents, I feel like you could get that through chores, and if not that, sell something. I don't know. There's also DaVinci, right? Like if you can't get Premiere or Adobe stuff, I think you could just go and get DaVinci because DaVinci is really good. Like Drumptony in the chat here uses DaVinci, has insane editing, and uses DaVinci. It's free. Well, actually, no, he paid for the studio version, but still, he was making pretty ridiculous stuff with just free DaVinci. So I would highly recommend that. Discord theme? I don't know. It should just be like a dark mode or something. Okay, my bad, Drum, my bad. Said Flamingo might do that. A little you know what? Sure. Little sneak peek of the next video. Breaking down this guy, talking about Burr. Some of the most insane editing I've ever seen on any Roblox video before. Like, I'm gonna just play like the first 30 seconds. Clear example right there. But yeah, I'm going based off of this video for my next tutorial thing. Going off of Burr's channel. I'm confident he uses After Effects, but you know what? I always figure it out in Premiere Pro. At least as close as I can.
Spotlight, moonlight, green light. I don't need no Smith and West. No. Fly me to the moon and let me fly among the stars. Let me see what spring is like.
Like, bro, there's so much happening here already, and then it gets a little bit more insane throughout the video. This feels like a mixture of Fearless's style with like a much more chaotic style. If you can't see, brother didn't change. Oh my gosh, bro, I'm slow. Cut me some slack, guys. I'm sorry. Cut me some slack. Wait, can I use the transition then? Oh dang. I think you guys joined too late to see the Discord transition, so my bad. There we go. Fix it. Anyway, I'm gonna play that again.
Spotlight, moonlight,
Green light. Fly me to the moon and let me fly among the stars. Let me see what spring is like. Jupiter and
Definitely has some After Effects uses. But yeah, there's like a lot of tiny, simple, sort of simple effects. Some are more complex than others that kind of just make it pretty entertaining to me. You're an editor, not a streamer. Of course I'm a streamer. What do you mean? I've been streaming like every day for the past 5 months, clearly not inactive at all. I don't know what you're talking about. Three days? You try to break it down in Premiere? I'm so glad you asked. I'm so glad you asked, because guys, I made this cool transition and I've been wanting to use it so badly for the past 5 minutes, so here we go. Whoa. Heck yeah. I wish there was sound effects with that, but I enjoyed making that in Blender. I kind of think it would be a cool idea if I started making some of those like transitions though and put them out in a pack or something. Maybe sold it for free, maybe $5. I don't know. I want to make it worth the value if it is gonna be something that you gotta pay for. Make the, you know what? Go for it. Make a sound effect for that, and I will put it on there. Yeah, I need like a whoosh sound effect like that you make with your mouth. Just go. I think that'd be perfect. But back to this screen. I don't think I want to do this one. I'm gonna go and look at a Flamingo video. I did not plan on looking at a Flamingo video, but you know what? Sure. Still, getting 1 million views every single video just... it's crazy to not fall off. Yeah, 7 years and you're just still getting millions. Like, you know he is chilling financially. Anyway, I guess I could do this one, unless if you guys have a specific thing in mind.
Alright, after all these years, I am still an official moderator on the spray paint game. And someone is requesting help right now. I really love this. This is probably my favorite art game
Loki, why is the music kind of loud?
out there. Like, look at this. Shout out to this person.
The music does not feel balanced. That's just me.
I like these little critters you're making. Alright, he said back at D. Shout out to this person. I like these little critters you're making. Alright, he said.
I've gone over that before. That's literally just... Do I really like go into detail on every single thing, even if it's like a simple, you know what, sure. This is literally just a blur mask that you could do with like Gaussian blur in Premiere or camera blur. And then this one is the mosaic effect, which I talked about in the ITMG video. But you could literally just do a mask and then lower the pixelation on that. So yeah, nothing too crazy.
Said back DF up, which means back the f.
Yeah, the editing is not like anything insane. Flamingo also has built his personality and brand up to the point where it doesn't really matter what he uploads. He's still gonna get like 1 million views regardless.
Up. Yeah! Not only
Rate your portfolio. Maybe. I feel like that'd be cool for a separate stream. If I go over like a ton of portfolios, even the ones in my Discord and other Discord servers, I think that'd be cool.
am I gonna ban him? I'm back the f up. Yeah!
Camera shake. with the nest though.
Back DF up, which means back the
Yeah, that's a nested clip. Because the face cam and then like the actual gameplay's moving with it, so you're not making stuff. Yeah, definitely.
real life. Alright, let's check this. As a moderator, I am a
Bro, I don't know if I want to look at a Flamingo video. There's not that much going on. I feel like it's not really gonna be that good. I have an idea. I have a very, very cool idea. How to create hydrogen bombs, yes. Look at the new Finzar video. Why not? No, I did not mean to click on that. Finzar, the king of editing. Yeah, I think this would be way, way better.
On this video. Was it because you got sent it by a friend? Hey, watch this.
I haven't done this type of thing in so long where you put two of yourself in one shot. I mean, it's just you masking out like the middle right there. But still, the main problem is getting the lighting to not change. So you have to be really quick about when you're doing this type of scene. Especially if it's going to be outside where the sun is constantly changing. Yeah, those shadows can really give that away. So I'm sure there's some feather there, because if there wasn't, it would probably be very, very obvious that there's like a line cut right here.
Maybe it popped up on your subscriber feed.
Ooh, hold up, something good.
Yeah. Was it because you got sent it?
There's a slight zoom in there. I just noticed that just now. It's probably a transform effect with some blur. What is it? What is the transform effect blur called? Shoot. Yeah, composition shutter angle. If you check that box and then you turn that up, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get like that little bit of motion blur when you do a zoom. I know, but even when you do just a zoom, sometimes you don't get the little bit of motion blur that happened right there.
Maybe it popped up.
Why is there like... There's like a couple lights on the edge. I don't know what that is. That could just be a green screen or something in After Effects. I mean, if I were to do that, maybe take a couple of mask layers and then feather them. Turn the opacity down. Or could be a lens flare. Something like that. I don't know. I love the flash effect, bro. It's one of my favorite things, the shine effect. Lens flare, it could be. Yeah, but for the shine effect, literally it's just like a white layer. Because you can see that it's clipping right there too. So it's clearly just a box with like a mask that's going over. And then to make sure it's not moving, obviously it's just gonna be, you have like how my screen is right now. Put the box in the video box right here. And then you nest it together and then you make that zoom happen. Personally, I would have some blur like around this, so it's really emphasizing what's in the middle.
Or maybe...
I'm about 99% sure that's a Premiere Composer transition.
You got sent it by a friend. Maybe it popped up on your subscriber feed. Or maybe you saw this.
Yeah, that's a Premiere Composer transition. I see that transition so much, literally everywhere. I was watching there's a thing for college, and the person who edited that video definitely used Premiere Composer because the transition was the exact same sound effect, everything.
This thumbnail and you thought, yeah, that looks interesting. You probably already know how important a thumbnail is.
Oh, that tracking has got to be terrible. That's got to be some After Effects tracking, I'm sure.
Yeah, that looks interesting. You probably already...
Yeah, probably a green screen phone. No, maybe it's not even a green screen on the phone. It could be that he just did a pretty good rotoscope and mask out of the phone screen right here. and then put something on it and just tracked it. That probably is what happened.
Already know how important a thumbnail is.
What is this like light leak thing though? I think you're right about it being a lens flare.
You probably already know how important a thumbnail
There's a little bit of it right there.
is. A good
I don't know what that is. I'm just gonna say it's a lens flare.
thumbnail and a
Ooh.
that looks interesting. You probably already know how important a thumbnail is. A good thumbnail and
Opacity transition. Underrated as heck. I feel like not enough people. It's a video overlay? Yeah, probably. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, he really keeps using that same video overlay then. Probably changing the hue of it and the color. But yeah, that's an opacity transition right here that I don't think not enough people use. It makes things look really clean, and I feel like because it's so simple, people are just like, bro, I'm not gonna use that. That's terrible. But no, it can be so clean sometimes. Times. Hello. Yeah, drum. That sounds about right. And then obviously there's gonna be blur in the background on that new layer that's coming in. Probably a Gaussian blur, along with like sparkles too.
that looks interesting.
Did the sparkles were they
Already know
blurred
how important a
before,
thumbnail is.
or did they
A
like
good thumbnail
keyframe?
that looks interesting. You probably already know how important a thumbnail is. A good thumbnail and a bad
No,
one
okay, those were blurred before. Maybe it blurred a little bit more. Could have keyframed to like be even deeper. You gotta go. Sounds good, bro. Thanks for tuning in for a little bit. Yeah, I definitely will be trying to get a video out before the end of the summer. That's ideal. That bird video though, I'm gonna work on that tonight for sure. As for this, more mosaic with a circle mask on that because the edges right here are a little bit curved. And then the text is literally, I don't know what font that is, but there's some drop shadow on the text, by the way. And then it's just literally green layer, video, text with drop shadow, all that combined. And then, yeah, animated to like come up. Probably Premiere Pro transform effect, add the motion blur on that, and then add like a little camera shake, and bam, you're good. And then same thing for this one.
difference between 100 views or 1 million.
I covered his text before, but somebody told me it's After Effects, which I'm not surprised if it is. Because of just the very specific way that there's like light over here and not. It's probably a 3D light or whatever After Effects has with like CC light or something. And then as for the like the way it like bumps up here,
Thumbnail is. A good thumbnail and a bad one can be the difference between 100 views.
it could be Mr. Horse Premiere Composer again. Because I have that exact same thing I can do in my window. I'm gonna open that up. Not just another excuse to use my transition. Not at all. Promise. Yeah, where's the text at? Yeah, there it is. I don't know if it's showing. Of course, it's gonna be laggy, but you get what I'm saying. It's Mr. Horse, that right there. Yep. There's probably a little bit of like keyframing on it on the position too to make it come up a little bit. But yeah, I would be willing to bet that's Mr. Horse. Alright, back to the breakdown.
Views or 1 million. But how do you actually make
Hold up. Okay, a lot happened. A lot happened.
thumbnail and a bad one?
What the heck? I'm sorry, the overlay is like really fascinating me with the way the light is moving, especially in the background there.
Can be the difference between
Another opacity transition, by the way, and then a little transform animation pulling it out.
you actually make good.
I cannot go into detail on the keyframing for this, but it's not insane. There's just like a rotation and then like a little bounce. I would say it's probably going to be like 3-4 transform keyframes to make it come up and then bounce back down. I know with the curves sometimes you can use 2 keyframes and then make it where at the end it goes over a little bit over the value, if that makes sense. So then if you were to just be like choosing for an image to come from the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen, somewhere in that curve it's going over the value that needs to be to get here, and then it's coming back down. I don't know how to do that in Premiere though. I think I've done it maybe one time on accident, but I need to go and look at how to do that again. Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking it could be just like a colored video, and then it's directional blur, and then the opacity is turned down a lot, and maybe it is screen. I don't know. That's a really probably like more difficult way to do it. But I mean, you can always do things more than one way with the editing world. So, you know, same for the dust. Yeah, that makes sense. I believe this is another Premiere Composer transition. Yeah, the way it repeats, it definitely is. Actually, really smart. What he did here is he isolated the search bar and then got rid of the stuff behind and just chose a gray layer that is matching it. So that way it doesn't feel like, because I've done this in my videos before where I zoom in on the search bar. And quite frankly, I probably should be doing what he's doing here, where I put something that blends in with the color, so that way it just feels like it's just the search bar and I can have more freedom to move around. Because I hate trying to zoom in on search bars, bro, when I'm editing something.
Hundreds of videos out there about the basics of thumbnails and photo.
The heck?
Make good thumbnails. There are already hundreds of
I think
videos
this is just
about the
a,
basics.
yeah, that's just a position thing. Dip now, got you. Thanks for sticking around, man. Yeah.
Of thumbnails and Photoshop.
There's a light leak again. Literally another time.
I would
He also did the same thing I was talking about with the search bar, where it's cutting out this side and then him just zooming in with the camera. There's also some basic 3D on here.
know because I made one.
And then a zoom in. So it's probably a layer that is the same as like the YouTube like homepage combined with like a scrolling thing. Nest that together, put a 3D on it, and then obviously if it's nested you can just zoom in like he just did.
The ones on YouTube.
Wow, man. Damn.
So today, instead, I'm going to go over how I approach making a thumbnail, from asset creation to touching up your face in Photoshop. But first, let's go over stage 1, the idea.
3D text, everybody's worst enemy. I'm not sure what this is. I'm tempted to say Blender because that's like the one 3D thing I know to use. Does After Effects have a 3D text thing? I think it does. I don't use it, so I won't know. I don't have After Effects, I have no clue. But I'm tempted to say you could just make this in Blender, which you can. You just need to like extrude the text a lot. and add some glow. Yeah, I don't think it would be too difficult to make that.
Before we can do anything, you need to come up with the idea for your thumbnail. In other words, what's going to be in your thumbnail? Essentially, we just need to boil down the video into one simple image, just like a film poster. So if you're making a video about playing Minecraft, you would maybe have a photo of yourself in the thumbnail.
Interesting. What he just did to make that pop out. Because it's clearly 2 layers, but to make it blend in so well. Maybe you went into Photoshop and then grab those 2 and then put it in here and then just like animated it bouncing out. Because the main thing is getting the position to come back, so you'd probably set that keyframe first and then move it over so it goes back to the position that it needs to get into.
And something Minecraft related next to you. But let's be honest, no one's gonna watch a random person playing Minecraft. Something Minecraft related next to you.
That light
let's be
thing,
honest,
that light thing.
No one's gonna watch
I want that, that's what I want.
gonna
Slight flash, okay.
be honest. No one's
And then he zooms the camera up a tiny bit, like it's just a slightest zoom and then it zooms in with a little shake. It's not a lot, but it shows that.
No.
Plus the X is literally just like growing and then shrinking. Yeah, with a little bit of like rotation on that animation right there. That's the part that is going to be difficult. You need to set an anchor point to be like on the edge of that so you can make it like swing a little bit and then drop, because he likes to do that effect a lot.
Millions of people already do that. So how are you gonna stand out? Really gotta think about.
Okay, I just realized I'm just sitting here like watching this in
idea
in
and the story in
0.25.
your video. So how are you gonna stand out? Really, you gotta think about the idea and the story.
Is that rotoscoped? Or did that go over his sleeve? I can't tell.
People already do that. So how are you gonna stand out? Really gotta think about the idea.
That's fine. That has a drop shadow on it. It's just a little pop. Okay, that goes over his arm. I thought it was rotoscoped.
Story in your video and how to implement that into your thumbnail.
Hold up.
Think about the idea and the story in your video
Yep.
and how to implement that into your thumbnail.
I think the moment that text like gets close to being from behind that, this thing comes out and there's like a little pop above it. I'm pretty sure that's, yeah, that's what happened. Or he just switched the layers and added like a little transition to make it cleaner.
In my own videos, I always come up with the thumbnail right at the stage where I'm coming up with the video idea and story itself.
For instance, if you're playing Minecraft, then what's the interesting thing that's happening?
Let's say you're trying to survive 100 days in hardcore mode. Do you then add the word survival to your thumbnail? Already you've got something extra going on. When it comes to your story, I want you to think about something.
One thing I do notice about the Premiere Composer transitions is that when most people use them, the sound effects are way too loud, bro. Like, the sound effect is literally what feels like 30 decibels above what it should be. And it really needs to be way quieter. Like, that was the perfect balance between that sound effect, because I hear that a lot.
That I call the curiosity factor.
3D text tracking. Whoa.
When it comes to your story, I want you to think about something that I call the curiosity factor.
Yeah, that's definitely tracked. I have something in Premiere that I paid for that can track. I think DaVinci has an auto tracker. Probably free too. I don't know, Drum would have to confirm that for me. But that's definitely Blender text, I think. After Effects, same thing that I said earlier about it. You just need to get 3D text, add some blur, or not blur, glow on that, make it white, and then yeah, you're good.
What is it in your story that's going to make your audience curious? What's going to make them stop scrolling on YouTube?
His camera quality looks amazing,
and
by the
click on
way.
your video? Maybe in your survival Minecraft video, you end up surprising yourself and making a crazy cool house by the end of your playthrough.
It was perfect.
You could make a split thumbnail, losing the picture of you and instead teasing the final result. And then instead of making it clear, you could slightly blur
Maybe I go over
a
that
crazy
part.
cool house by the end of your playthrough.
It was perfect.
You could make a split thumbnail, losing the picture of you and instead teasing the final result.
Yeah, if you're just using the same mask on like a 1920 1080 image and it's just gonna give the curve, then all you need to do is just make sure everything's the same size. Because if you're setting the origin point to right here and you set a keyframe that you like move it over and then make a new keyframe in that current spot where it's like down here, then it would just go back to right here. So yeah, that's a good way that he did
Instead
that.
of making it clear, you could slightly blur the final result picture, making people ask,
What's going on here? What is that final result?
What is
final result picture.
Why is the
making
like
people ask,
What's going on?
border around this so weird?
What is that?
It's so pixelated. I'm very confused on that. Maybe that's Finzar and they no, because they've had cleaner things before. I don't know what that's about. That's odd. There is another like After Effects light effect on the channel logo because it's white over here, shadow over here, and then it's kind of just
That final result.
tracked with that.
Okay, so blurring it out might feel a little bit cheap and maybe a bit boring. So instead, let's bring that side back into focus.
Clean rotoscope. Oh my gosh.
Might feel a little bit cheap and maybe a bit boring. So instead,
I would imagine at this point they create a new clip and start the rotoscope behind his
bring that
hand.
side
Yeah, that's probably what they did.
back into focus.
And then not only that, you need to have that layer track. So yeah, I'm sure Finzar is the top layer, then it goes this layer, then the bottom layer, and then it's tracking this right here to the desk in 3D. I think it's After Effects. I know Blender has something like that, but I could not explain that, bro.
Let's put an arrow
I'd have to
going
figure it
from
out.
left to right to show the progression and development within the gameplay.
There's also some glow on that.
This also just teases the story and promises a
Like, it's crazy kind of looking at videos like this, because then you realize how many little details are on just like one layer. And then you have multiple of those layers throughout, what, an 11-minute video, and we're only 2 minutes and 14 in.
really fantastic result at the end. Coming up with a thumbnail idea that makes people curious to click is not easy, and taking inspiration from other people might seem like a good option, but what I found is that originality
zoom
works
there.
best. So focus on coming up with a thumbnail that tells your unique story, not someone else's.
let's go over a few examples from my channel that have been successful, like this one on
That's clean.
Let's go over a few examples from my channel
Yeah, the way that transitions with an opacity, or just crosses off, is really clean.
that have
Light
been
leaks
success-
return. And then just taking the thumbnail. You can easily find like little thumbnail things where you can just download an image and it will already have that little curve. But there's also just a simple way to like crop it out in like DaVinci or Photoshop or Premiere or something. And then this probably, no, this isn't even taken off of YouTube. This is literally just custom made. Just throwing in that profile picture and then adding the title and then his name.
like this one on editing the same video on different free softwares. You can see the story. There's all the software above my head, clearly displayed, while I'm holding a
Well, that's a lot. Okay.
You can see the story. There's all the software above my head, clearly.
So, I think the best way to go about this is that all these layers are separate. Because if all this is in Photoshop, then you can literally just put those same exact layers on top of each other in Premiere or After Effects, whatever he uses. And then it's the same thing I was talking about earlier with like the little like swipe thing, or the flash.
displayed, while
And then an arrow on a
I'm
curve.
holding a Premiere
Ooh, some choppy animation too.
Pro logo.
I wonder how he did those arrows though.
Sorry, there's all the software above my head, clearly
I mean, it might just be a mask where he makes it come out, or it's really just a video layer he found online or something and
displayed
animated
while I'm
that
holding a
to go in a curve. Once again, there's also the Premiere thing having the little light flash over it.
Premiere Pro logo, implying that these softwares are going up against Premiere. The curiosity factor is here. What even are some of these softwares? You recognize DaVinci, but what is that
I'm loving the little like animated animated graphics here. This type of stuff I kind of want in my videos.
other one that looks like a shark? Are some of these softwares? You recognize DaVinci, but what is that other one that looks like a
Yeah, this is probably just stuff taken from like a motion graphic service and then thrown on here. Just to like fit in.
shark? You also have the title underneath.
Simpler the better, you know?
Recognize DaVinci, but
What
what is
up?
that other one that
Yeah, you can see the outline right here of the original thing. So it's definitely like a video with a question mark. Probably a green screen or something. Or overlay, throws it on there. And then adds some glow. Because you can see that glow really just extends right there.
looks like a shark? You also have the title underneath the thumbnail, which reads, I edited the same video on every free. You also have the title underneath the thumbnail, which reads, I edited the
Definitely a shape mask. Made to be read with some opacity. Probably mixed in with a screen like Drum was talking about earlier. And then you just literally do that with the mask right there. You animate that mask to just go that way and then yeah, you're good. And then obviously track the mouse too to do the same
video
thing.
on every free software.
A little
titled
ease
as
in, ease out.
complimentary to the thumbnail, clarifying the story that's being told and also shouting free to make that clear.
It's free real estate.
At this stage, you should just be sketching out your ideas using assets
It's I'm kind of shocked by how much Finzar actually uses the Premiere Composer transitions.
that you found on the internet, or literally sketching out ideas in a notepad.
And once you've got your final plan down,
I have a
it's time
feeling
to
a rotoscope edit's about to come.
move on to step 2.
Oh no,
acquiring
never
your
mind.
assets.
Blender again.
It's time to
Oh,
start
rotoscope.
creating your
After
thumbnail,
Effects rotoscope.
which means gathering your assets. For a lot of you, that's going to be including your faces. And for that, we're going to need to take a
He set up the shot very well. Like thinking outside of just the editing itself, setting up the shot is important if you're trying to put yourself here so you can have something show up here, because something definitely is about to.
clean, cool shot of your face.
For the best thumbnail pictures, you want to ideally
Okay,
use
wow.
natural soft
The
light,
one
using
time-
minor shadows
The one time I say it's gonna happen, it does not happen. Literally, I watched like 2 or 3 of his videos where he does the same thing and put something on that side of the screen. Whatever.
on your face. It's not like filming
Of course
a video
I'm
with
wrong.
dramatic lighting, as you want your face to be really clear in the thumbnail. Something I always do when taking thumbnail photos is turn on the raw setting. This is going to take a picture that will end up being way more customizable when we put it into Photoshop. If your story is one where you struggle, or one where the results of a stage, to give you the option to play around in the edit.
What are you doing?
Text is another common to give you the option to play around in the edit.
What are you doing?
Quick flash right there. And then I think that's really just a square mask with his face and then on the white layer. Yeah, I don't think it's anything crazy right there.
Text is another commonly used asset within thumbnail creation. You want to make sure that your text is super readable and clear, even when it's on a super small thumbnail, like when you're scrolling on a phone. A good example of text on one of my latest thumbnails is where I used the world's most difficult editing software, Avid. I wanted to make this exciting.
That looks like it has some 3D on it. I can tell there's a drop shadow. There's definitely some little like 3D tilt. And obviously just the rotoscope is clean.
I wanted them to think that this is something special. Look at that. Try not to click that, I dare you.
I might click it.
You can also see that the whole thumbnail was made around this idea, as the words are in heaven, and there's a halo ring around.
VR glow, Premiere Pro VR glow with a mask on this layer to make it increase and then decrease. just some keyframes that you need to put.
On the software logo. Creating that background was no small task. I use a mixture of assets from Google search as well as some AI. Layering in your thumbnail.
Okay, now that's cool. That's cool.
Small task. I use a mixture of assets from Google search as well.
Yeah, that's a really cool transition. Okay, well then that has to be masked out. Well, it's rotoscoped a little bit, but more than anything, it's just a mask following his body at the front,
Well as some
and then
AI.
going through. And then once you get to that point, it just fades in to have the full image.
Layering in your thumbnails is super important. I always make sure to layer each individual object separately rather than clumping everything all together as one layer. That
Luis
could
Plus
be
music hits so hard.
doing a computer on a
sometimes.
desk
Oh,
with it all together as one layer. That could mean doing a computer.
you can see where you put a little bit of that mask on there too. That's probably just a white layer with the opacity that has a strong mask on there, I would imagine. And then it just like kind of fills in.
Computer on a desk with a keyboard and mouse, all as individual layers. This gives you
Yeah, you can see from behind him how like rough it was. I don't think he wanted to spend a lot of time on it,
ultimate
but
control over
nobody's
what's going
paying
on in your
attention
thumbnail.
except me, because
Also,
I'm
you wanna
analyzing
make
it.
sure that each object is aiding the story that you're telling in your video. This leads me on to step 3, color and composition. By now your thumbnail is coming together, which means it's time to start talking about the composition of your assets. This can get highly technical and artistic. There's just so much to think about when you're putting your thumbnail together. So I'm going to go over some quick fire tips and tricks to help give you some ideas. First, the rule of thirds, which is simply breaking up your screen into thirds using a grid. The result is 2 vertical
clean
lines,
zoom.
2 horizontal lines, and you want the
Okay, now that's cool. That's definitely After
thirds
Effects with a
using a
3D
grid.
track.
The result is 2 vertical lines, 2 horizontal lines.
What did he use to track it though is the question. I think it would be this wall.
Your screen into thirds using a grid. The result is 2 vertical lines, 2 horizontal lines.
Yeah, there's a rotoscope and then there's a 3D track on those lines with the way they
And
come
you
in.
want the
I imagine that's After Effects with how they're being animated and
focal
coming
point
in there.
to be at the intersection of these lines at any of these
But yeah,
4
3D tracks can be so cool sometimes.
points. If you want to take this one step further, you may want to think about the golden ratio, which is a naturally occurring, aesthetically pleasing ratio equaling to 1.618. I don't know, that's just what Google said.
Okay.
Now that probably doesn't mean much to you, but just imagine a snail shell. You can see the ratios here.
Another
And it looks
rotoscope.
pleasing. This shape can be found in lots of artworks, like the Mona Lisa, and can be
That's
a
cool.
good metric pleasing. This shape can be found in lots of artworks.
A little 3D
like the
rotate
Mona
right there. After Effects possibly? I know how it could be done in Blender.
Lisa, and can
I'ma
be a
say
good
After
metric
Effects,
to
though.
go by. Colors are also super important here. You want to think about the color wheel and complement
You know what? Actually,
pleasing. This shape can be found in lots of artworks, like
I
the
think the exact same sort of 3D thing can be done in Premiere because they have basic 3D and that's not an extremely complicated rotation.
Mona Lisa.
That might
and
just
can
be-
a good metric to go by.
Yeah, that could just be
Colors are also
Premiere.
super important here. You want to think about the color wheel and complementary colors. A lot of the best thumbnails on YouTube are dominated by 2 complementary colors. Just like real art. 2
How is that
complementary
mic
colours.
sounding so good? That's on a phone. Never mind, I know how it is. It's him taking that audio and either putting it into Premiere or Adobe Podcast Editor to break out the sound and then isolate his voice and turn it into a good podcast mic. And he could just be isolating the audio layer, putting it in the editing software, and then just doing some like increase the bass, make it more full. That's about it.
Just like real art. You can use color to highlight a certain object within the frame. For instance, in this video on the software Flame, the blue color of the logo nicely stands out against the gold, bringing your eye to the logo.
More VR glow right
Oh,
there.
yes. Oh, orange and blue are complementary colors. That's excellent news. Thank you very much.
I recommend studying colors. Study the color wheel and see what works for you. Go with those 2 complementary colors. Just try it out. But really what I recommend is simplicity. You don't want to go too overboard with millions of different objects or with different colors.
He is speaking
It's just not
the
gonna look
truth
good.
though about
This brings us
thumbnails
on to
and
step 4.
thinking
Finessing.
simpler.
And when I say finessing, what I really mean is editing this thumbnail in Photoshop. I've uploaded the whole video. And when I say finessing, what I really mean is editing this thumbnail in Photoshop.
Little like wiggle animation on that. No, that's not. That's not a little wiggle one. It pops out and then goes down, but there's like, it could just be like a quick wave warp. Yeah, that might be a quick wave warp. Or it could be a uniform scale, so you can actually adjust the width and height individually. And then you're kind of just changing those throughout. Either one.
I've uploaded the whole video of me editing this thumbnail on my Storzar channel. The link is in the description. You should go check it out if you want to see me.
Speaking of Storzar, you know what's written in Storzar? CravestShop.com. In the description. Nah. I need to put some more stuff on there, but
Do the whole thing from start
there's some decent stuff on there so far. A lot of it is free.
to finish. Let's begin.
So let's run through this in quick.
Finish.
Ba-da-bum-bum-bum-bum.
Let's begin.
Clean opacity
Let's run through
transitions with a like object above it being animated to come on the screen.
This in quick.
Heavily
bite-sized
underrated.
chunks for you.
Now, there's a little mask right there with that hand layer being doubled so that can fit under it and look like it's actually in his hand.
And get your thumbnails looking like masterpieces in no time. After you've opened Photoshop, pull in your assets. Now if you took raw photos like I suggested earlier,
So you're just going over how to like make it. Because in that case, I'm pretty much done here with this video.
Bye.
Well, there's some pretty decent stuff in there. I think if I do another video, I should probably at least try to explain a little better in Premiere or Blender. Because it makes sense in my head, but maybe just talking about it isn't as clear. Well, then again, I don't know. I have no clue. Also depends on how many people watching and like what they want. Because like even if it's one person, as long as they're still getting something out of me breaking down a video, then I mean I would say it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. In the meantime, I actually want to show these other transitions because yeah, they're cool. So if I go to the Blender screen for everybody who's watching, bam. I feel like that'd be a good thing to show off in a tutorial, like how to animate something like that, because it did not take long. It really didn't. Then we go to my Discord screen. A little obsessed with that transition. Anyway, video breakdown is nothing because I figured if I'm going to be jumping from Premiere to the video over and over and over, it would be too obnoxious. And then lastly, we have intermission screen, which is if I'm going to take a break, which I think I might either just end the stream here, but I don't know. I'm going to just take a quick, like, 1 3-minute break, something like that. Anyway, enjoy. Pretty fire. Alright. Next time for the intermission screen, I'm gonna have hopefully music. Maybe like create an hour track of just music that just changes. So if I'm gone for like 30 minutes or some odd reason or less, it will hopefully switch to the next song. And keep it from being silent because silence is not good sometimes. But yeah, I'm gonna watch this stream back and think about what could have been better, what could have been worse. What was good, what was bad. Hopefully, whoever was in here watching this actually gained a little bit from seeing how I was analyzing Finzar's video and just looking at all the little tiny, minute details. And how you can just do that for yourself. And hopefully return to see me do some more videos. But yeah, that was almost an hour stream. I'm gonna try and do another hour stream, hopefully. If not tomorrow, the next day. And just keep these being consistent. And working on the next how to edit like video because I need to drop one. It's been way too long. But yeah, I'm gonna go guys. It's been fun.